Welcome back to Face Off Around the Culture, the weekly HBCU band recap. I'm your host, Horatio.
I'm your host, Vidal. What's going on with you this week, man?
Hey man, I'm very excited, bro, about this week, man. We've been talking about
hmm
you know the band world and these battles and these competitions, but this week really, I feel like it really gave me something, man. Like it gave me something to like talk about. It was a lot of band discourse, a lot of good battles. What you think about this week?
This week was really action packed, man. I really like the matchups we had this week. I really like the styles of matches we had this week, and we headed towards the end of the season. So we get into that space where the bands that haven't seen each other, that are going to see each other, are really now getting those matchups done, and it's really rounding out for what this landscape of the season overall is going to look like heading out, and really putting a lid on things and putting into some discussions. Like, we had some matchups where we could think, like, which band, what's going to come with when this band sees this band, or vice versa.
Right.
So I think, especially with this week, we have the matchups like Jackson State, Texas Southern, when we got a
Mhm.
FAMU A&M, and when we got a Southern
Right.
and Alcorn. Those
Yeah.
really, I feel like those battles are like really stable battles where you can just envision in your mind, see the outcome. Where, like, okay, I definitely see what place this band is and relative to other band programs. And I definitely feel like what we saw this week, we got a really good look at everything the band have been up to this season.
Right, definitely. Well, with that being said, the topic of today, I mean, and it really goes in with what you just said, is impress me. Impress me as the fan.
Impressed you.
I want to be impressed. We've gotten further enough in the season. Y'all should know the music. There should be no excuses. It's getting a little cooler outside. You know what I'm saying? Impress me. So I think today we're going to talk about the bands this week that actually went and tried to impress the audience. Just really, because that's the type of time that we're on right now. Um, but first though, let's start with a band discussion. And it's just a little quick thing, and I just want to get your opinion on this. How do you feel about bands
Yeah.
going to an away game, playing to the visitor side? Now I know you went to Jackson and y'all do that a lot, but what do you think about that? Because I don't really like that too much. I seen a band
Mhm.
last week do that, and I'm going to talk about it last week. What you think?
I think it depends on the game. Like, to me, it depends on the game and the sceneries. Like, let's say you at a game, you got heavier attendance. Your fans come out. Let's say you A&T in like Atlanta, right? Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
has a lot of presence, A&T members that want to see the
Right,
band, want to be with the band, but they're going to sit on that visitor side, right? So in order
right,
to play to your audience, I don't think there's an issue or a problem with that. There's something I've done, but it's not something that we always did every single game. We played to the home side before. It just seemed really like, what type of game, what type of scene this is. Whether sometimes as a band, you got to be authentic. If you playing to the home side, you in a dangerous territory where you likely to,
right.
no matter what you do, could potentially get booed or whatever.
Get
You play to
booed?
your side.
Right. Yeah. It also depends on if your fans travel. Because, like you said, if your fans traveling, and you really want to give it to your
Yeah.
fans, and when people travel, they want to know what side the band's gonna play to. They want to know that whole thing, just because that's why they came. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting topic, just playing to the visitor side. But back to the topic tonight. Impress me. Where should we start this week? With all the battles. Where you want to start?
I guess let's go Florida A&M and AMU. That's fresh in my mind.
Great. Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So we are in Huntsville, Alabama, right? We talked about stadiums last week. Alabama A&M has an
Yeah.
underrated stadium, bro. If you ask me. Like I really like their stadium. I like the battles there. I feel like the visiting side is like a good, a good thing. But Julie says if it's a rival game, you play to your team side no matter where you at. Well, there you go. Well, there you go. All right,
Okay.
family, Alabama A&M. So what you think about this battle, yo? I think that this battle really wasn't a battle. It was more of like a showcase. Because okay,
Okay.
Alabama A&M to me sounded great. I really enjoyed Alabama A&M, right? But on the videos, right? But through Instagram and Facebook, I saw a lot of clips. It was their high school band day, right? So they had a lot of high
Right.
school students. And halfway through the battle, maybe at close to the beginning, A&M came on the field, right? So apparently they were about to march off, and then FAMU kept playing. We shot to FAMU, man. Something I really liked about FAMU in this game was the depth of their book, right? I may not have liked the songs that they played, but the depth of it is crazy, and the fact that they can really, you know, what I'm saying, pull out technical pieces, pull out a lot of stuff in their book, it was great. But a highlight for me was Alabama A&M. What you think about this whole battle?
I'm gonna go opposite with you, man. I think the highlight for me was FAMU.
Really?
The reason is, yes, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. FAMU with their book, they gave me diversity, as you said, and I felt like FAMU pushed the envelope in this battle. I felt
Mhm.
like the reason I even say that is there came to a point with the battle where A&M they went off on the field. FAMU ran three in a row, which okay,
Right.
to get off the field, you
Mhm.
can't do anything about it. But then
Right.
if they A&M tried to come back with the Mariah Carey Busta Rhymes with
Mhm.
it, and FAMU didn't play like a crank song, but they played something with respectable and it was powerful as well.
Right.
And they also changed the course of the battle with their ballots, and it
Right.
got to a point where A&M started to reply to FAMU, even ended up playing the march. And
Right.
for me, so I don't understand why the bands try to play marches with FAMU. It just
Okay.
really doesn't work in your favor because this is their bread and butter. This is what they do.
What they
And I
do?
don't feel like
Right.
unless you spend dedicated time, it's not even like to me. It's not even like a time thing, right? They have an attachment and identity to these marches that we really don't see in these other HBCU programs like that,
Right.
where it's almost like we're FAMU. We're gonna play these marches, and this is part of our program. Whereas I feel like other programs have to come in almost like push up the march or like you got to play these marches because they're supposed to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
good where they have to like promote them
Mhm.
while FAMU is like understood like this is what we do, we don't have to
This is
promote
what we
this.
do. Oh
So,
yeah. If you go to FAMU, you know that you're gonna be playing Star the Stripes, Purple Carnival, them bases,
yes.
all them type. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's a part of the identity. But what I will say is FAMU
Mhm.
does a good job of switching it a little bit. Like since they came back, they've done a really good job of like integrating. Of course, the band scene is new. You know what I'm saying? It's not as like take them and Bethune. You know what I'm saying? Like Bethune
Mhm.
stays to what they know. FAMU does a really good job of like integrating newer songs and newer arrangements. Um, but and also a highlight to me was with their piccolos on showcasing them on Stars and Stripes Forever. But yeah, continue.
But yeah, I feel like with FAMU would push the envelope with that one. When A&M, I feel like when they got down on the field, I felt like their song started deteriorating. While FAMU really kept the same quality throughout. I felt like both of them, as far as issues concerned, they had some like the similar issues, man. Because FAMU did have some balancing issues. That tuba presence is wild for them for this year. I never
Yeah.
really heard a FAMU sound where that tuba presence is like really out there compared to the relative to the rest of the band, and just some really articulation issues. And we heard that with A&M when they got down on the field, they really weren't as clean and as precise as what we heard them when they were in the stands. What I will say about A&M is I would have liked some different songs. I heard a lot of
Yeah.
these songs from this season from them, and I
Mhm.
can't say the same type of pressure, put the same type of pressure on FAMU because I haven't watched them in recent weeks, and they haven't really played anybody in recent weeks for me to say no. You guys played this before, other than like their
Right.
standard marches and opening up
Mhm.
songs. So
Right.
overall, I mean,
Well,
when we did the quick hits last week, I gave it to FAMU, and coming out
mhm.
this battle, I'm giving it to FAMU.
Wow. Shout out to Fam for getting the dub. You know what's so crazy? Everybody's been talking about Fam like Fam is like the I didn't really see it. A highlight for me was Alabama and them playing Attitudes by Barkeys. I thought that was really good. But hey man, I'm gonna have to watch that again.
Mm-hmm.
It was a long battle. It was an hour battle. But shout out to FAMU for competing. All right, and impressing. All right. Let's move on. Okay. This happened last week. because this weekend I was talking to the Norfolk State's drum major at A&T's homecoming. So I thought that this was this week, but A&T played Morgan State last week, and I wanted to touch on that really small because when we talk about and the other reason why I came up with this title, when we talk about impressing us as the audience, Norfolk State and Morgan State, like, okay, Norfolk State is, to me, I want to talk because they're the type of band that gets up for who they need to get up for, and they chill for who they need to chill with, and I do not like that. Because Morgan, they completely chilled, and I think that I don't think that is reflective of a program that's really trying to get people every single week. Not when you're playing Tennessee State, when you're playing at one of these big battles, but Morgan State, it wasn't evenly contested. They didn't impress me, so it was at Norfolk. I put this battle was what I expect for both bands, but what I will say, Norfolk State has to stop playing "Freak No More," the song by the Migos. Bro, they played that song when we were in high school. High school. For real. I saw it in high school. That was 2014. And it gets worse every year. I'm talking about impressing us. Like, you're not impressing your alumni who have had to hear that song for 6 years straight. Morgan State's band is a band that's very energetic. They dance a lot, like full band dance. But to me, that sound isn't their biggest priority. So I would like to see, because I've seen them bigger too. They were actually kind of smaller than what they normally are, because they're like a pretty decent sized band. And they need work with the tubas. But again, same songs by NSU. NSU got the dub just by being the most bigger, polished band. But they didn't really take it. And I hate when bands do that. Stop getting up for the bigger bands. And then when you see these small bands, you're like, oh, yeah, we're just going to chill, whatever. But it was Morgan State can easily say, yeah, we did pretty good. Like, we won up y'all because they didn't really put the nail in the hammer. Put the nail in the coffin like how I wanted to. And I was talking up Norfolk State so well after the Tennessee State game. So I don't know if you saw this, but I just want to speak on that real quick. What you think?
Yeah, I didn't see this one, but I think you make a great point, man. Especially when this is not the type of I'm gonna call it behavior. I don't like to see the type of behavior, especially when you're not competing week in and week out against elite bands. Like, you literally have so-called weeks off, so to speak, and approach the battles. I would see if you had a crazy. Let's say you was let's make Norfolk State, Texas Southern these past 2 weeks. Like, you got Jackson. You got Southern, you got Jackson, and then you got Morgan, right?
Can we talk about that? Hold on, I'll put that in my notes. Can we talk about Texas Southern having the back-to-back? I just realized that when I was watching this video. I was like, bro, didn't they play Southern last week? Like, we'll get there. We'll get there.
So I will understand, because it takes time. It takes a lot of music to prepare for these bands. But when you got these weeks off, really not seeing nobody, or you're not having these long extended hour battles consistently, I don't feel like you should be laying off the gas pedal with these other bands. It's a time for you to. I think definitely in those type of time periods, those are times where you can really try something new, try something different without penalty.
Right. New songs. Norfolk State, new songs. Like, in this time when we play Norfolk State, we play Morgan State, this is the time to introduce a new song or two. You know what I'm saying? Like, either way, let's move on. Let's do Southern versus Alcorn.
Right.
Again, last week we talked about stadiums. Alcorn has a great stadium for getting cranked on. Let's start with my notes. Southern started with Canned Heat, which I thought was a great song. Good energy, perfect way to start off a fifth. Great key change in that song, great way. Alcorn, to me, all Alcorn's responses were mid. I put that in this whole battle, mid. Next song, Southern having tempo issues, like a lot of tempo issues. And they have a lot of tubas. So, what you think about that as far as them kind of, because I seen it in the comments as well as it was on multiple songs. So what you think?
Well, I think this is like the third battle we've seen Southern have tempo issues stemming from the tubas. And I think this is, dare I say, the largest tuba section to date. And I said this when they played Jackson State second week. Like I don't think Southern for their style and their approach need this many tubas. It doesn't give me that classic Southern style that people love and like that I like, and I think with it have so many phasing issues and tempo issues like that, it's just not working out for them. So definitely would like to scale that back again next season, but those type of things elite programs really need to dial in and deal with, just because if you've seen it at multiple games, we know it's an issue, and y'all definitely know it's an issue because it's not like it's not happening at all. And then game day, surprisingly, oh no, we got tempo issues. When it's consistent like that, it happens in the band room too. I've dealt with it. I went through it. We've had a couple years where we had some tempo issues a lot. So, and it was happening in the band room as well. So that's something you really got to dial in and fix.
But isn't that such a good problem to have? We got too many tubas. Right. Like, oh man, we got too many. We gotta maybe we can move. That's such a great problem to have, you know. So they're thinking, well, you can just get it together. I mean, it's just play, you know. But either way, again, a lot of Alcorn responses with me. I put Southern won this battle. They won it. You know, it was a short battle. They won every round, but they weren't that impressive to me. I feel like Southern hasn't been that impressive this year. What you think?
It just really made me dial in. I'm like, to be honest, I really thought they sounded better last week, and it just made my brain go like, you know, is this their true sound when they're just at home, or is this extend and go to other places as well? Because we know Alcorn has a great stadium. Southern has sounded amazing in that stadium before, so and it's just like, what's going on there? It's just a lack of consistency in that, and that's not something we're really used to seeing from Southern, and especially with battles like Alcorn. I felt like Alcorn had less buzz this year, was a little smaller this year, and it really caused, I would say, Southern to let off the gas pedal with their approach, man. Facing Alcorn this year, I feel like they had a pretty good, solid performance versus Alcorn, and I think Alcorn, for what they have, they did great. I was actually like, Alcorn didn't impress me by what they played or anything different, but what I was impressed with Alcorn is usually Alcorn will go through a fifth. By the third or fourth song, they start dying. Alcorn gave me their sound all the way through. They executed pretty much the same way all the way through, the best they could, and I really couldn't see any improvements with their playing they could do, just other than just by continuously just getting better on the individual players. Because I felt like what they had as far as numbers, I heard they were playing everything that was there. They could just have some players that work on their sound as the year goes on, as next season sound a little better, and add some more numbers to it. You still got a complete product.
Definitely. A standout from that battle was the last song that Alcorn played, which was Power. I thought that was pretty good. But yeah, Southern took it from me though. But not again. I wasn't that impressed. When we get a reaction, we should do a reaction to that, man. We should, bro.
Which one you want? Tell us which one you want.
I think talking about Southern versus Alcorn. Okay, before we get into the last battle, I want to get into something I want to do that's new, and that's band lie. Everybody that's listening to this thing right now, put the biggest band lie that you have heard, and I'll give you an example. This is the biggest band lie ever, and we need to stop. That isn't our whole band. Oh no, our whole band didn't come. We still got some more players. No, you don't. That's a lie. It's a big lie. And matter of fact, whoever's here right now, that's the band. That's what we're doing. So I cannot stand that, because I seen it this week on Facebook. Someone saying, "Oh no, you know what I'm saying? We would have got y'all. We had our whole band." Stop with that. Stop with the rest of the band. And no, whoever's there, that's the band. So I know I just spun that on you. But
I got one.
Please go ahead.
We saving our book for next week.
We're saving our book for next week. The time is now. You're not saving your book, bro. You're not saving your book. And hold on, too. This ain't even a band lie. But what do you think about, since you just said saving your book, what do you think about directors that make you play a song that they know that you don't know, but y'all should know? So he's gonna prove it to y'all that y'all should know by making y'all play it. What you think about
Man, you gotta be that director for like a minute. Like you gotta have
that?
15, 10 years in your program. I feel like to do that. Because if you second, third year your program, you're trying to make a point to your band, I feel like you just lose people with that one. I think you do just in the overall grand scheme of things, trying to prove a point like that. I think you can do your band a disservice. Because ultimately, just knowing how people think and react to things, they're still gonna blame you. People are not gonna take ownership and be like, "Well, we could have did better," and that was our maybe like 5 years, 10 years later when they're looking back on the clips, like, "Damn, we should have learned it." But you trying to, as a director, I would think is ultimately your responsibility is prepare the band and present them in the best way possible. So if you presenting them in a way that you like premeditated, already know that they're not gonna do well in, it's like you're just gonna lose the morale of the band. You're not presenting the band in its best, and it's really on you when it falls apart at the end of the day. So you could
agree,
like, band, and it just make you look bad as a director too, because no one else gonna know that.
Right, I agree, but there is a difference between the band not knowing a song and the band not wanting to know a song. Like we've definitely been through that, where it's like the band don't like this song, so we're gonna not really like give it our full attention. You know what I'm saying? And directors hate that because they took the time out to write it or whatever, got somebody to write it or whatever. And I just always thought about that, like just because it is a difference. And of course, I think going through band, you do understand that, like you have to give, and that's something I learned in high school. You have to, whether you like the song or not, you have to give it that same energy, that same time and attention, because it's representative of your school. But definitely, people who are watching in general, band live, we're gonna come up. At least have
I
one.
agree with you now.
Yeah, at least have one every week. Okay, saving the best.
I feel like.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You gonna go ahead.
Saving the best.
I feel like the trick is learn it quickly and don't let the band director know you don't like it, because you're gonna keep rehearsing it, you're gonna keep practicing it, you're gonna keep calling it. Yeah. Learn it quickly, leave it alone, so you never have to play it again.
Definitely. Saving the best battle for last. Jackson State versus Texas Southern. Now, Manny, I'm not trying to be on Jackson State because you went to Jackson State or because of whatever. I promise you I'm not. But if you want to know what an elite program, an elite staff it looks like for this year, you have to be watching Jackson State. Jackson State, bro, this battle was a flawless performance from Jackson State. Flawless. Now, I would say probably from the first, to me, they didn't win the first round, but everything after that, they literally took it. Okay, and I'm talking about their staff. We're talking about play calling. Jackson has the best staff when it comes to play calling and song selection. They know where to put, when to do the right things, and that's just showing. So to start off, Texas Southern started off slow. They started off with like a technical kind of piece. Then it picked it up, and it sounded pretty good. It had a lot of moving parts, right? Not what I would deem as something to start off the fifth with, but it was kind of long, right? And the reason why I feel like Jackson lost the first round, because Jackson responded with that type of song. I feel like they let Texas Southern tell them what to do in that first round. They had all the tubas in the back for the song that Jackson State responded to. I feel like Jackson let Texas Southern control the first round. What do you think about that?
I had it the other way around. They both played what seemed like movie themes. I think Texas Southern played Superman and Jackson State played Back to the Future. And I felt like, to me, it really wasn't. I didn't interpret it as Texas Southern made Jackson State play it, because I don't think bands just keep a movie theme in stock just because. I felt like Jackson State or Texas Southern both had the minds that they're going to come with one of them. So we have to have one. And I just felt like with that one, it's which one you preferred and like better. I liked the Back to the Future better. It gave me a lot more dynamic parts. It gave me energy, just gave me a lot of piano moments, some grand fortissimo moments. They tossed melodies around the section. It was very colorful. and I felt like Texas Southern really gave me that dark feel, but it wasn't no point where I just felt like it's taking me somewhere. The entire song felt like I was waiting for something to happen and nothing really did.
Right.
Even though it sounded good and nice, it just didn't give me those exclamation point moments or enough diversity in the louder louds and softer softs as Jackson State did.
Well, like I said, I disagree with that as far as like I feel like Texas took the first round strictly because they kind of went with them. So let's say Texas felt that way. That means that the second round, what you gotta bring? I mean, you gotta bring it, right? Didn't do it. Didn't do it. It sounded good, but to me, second round, it's like this is the time. Like the second round should have been like for Texas Southern, like yeah, we about to beat. I mean, we're going all in. Did not do that to me. Second round was to me given to Jackson, and
yeah,
to me that's what tied it 1-1, and that's where the battle started like getting ahead to me. But I put in my notes. I think Texas Southern is running the battle right now. Third round is where I feel like Texas Southern started giving it to Jackson. I mean, just gave it away. They played Circus by Britney Spears, and it was slower, and I felt like that was the time to change the mood. It was time to really bring something different. We just had this long, drawn-out movie themes. I forgot the second song they played. But then Circus was kind of like a fast-paced song. To me, it was not a good song selection or arrangement, right? But when we talk about good play calling, the next song Jackson State played with was I Want to Be Where You Are by by Jackson 5, which is like a mood changer. It's a slower song, like knowing what to do. Shout out to Jackson State Woodwinds in that song. That really like I could hear them. I thought the piccolos and that sounded good. That put Jackson State up 2-1 to me. I put Texas Southern gave them that. What you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I feel like this entire battle, man, it was a bit like slippery slope as far as play calling because even just Jackson overall, I felt like playing Jackson feels like almost like ice skating because it's so much different stuff every round. And if you respond, you respond directly. It almost like you lose. So you really got like a thin margin on the type of songs you can play in order to change the tides of the battle. With the Jackson 5, I feel like Texas Southern really allowed that to take place because they played something that really wasn't that respectable. And if I'm not mistaken, that round before, the intro to the song was like a complete disaster. They like messed it up. The trumpets was all over the place. And like when you have moments like that, that automatically shifts the energy. So, and then Jackson State is really good at taking the moments. Like you just gonna give us one freebie. We really don't have the pressure to have to respond to. We're gonna take it in a completely different direction.
Absolutely. I like what you said. You said ice skating. Yeah, I like you said ice skating because with that next round, they responded to the Jackson 5 song. They played "I Can Love You" by Mary J. Blige. Good song, sounded good, but it's like now they're in control, and now you're gonna pay for what. But it's it's like you're gonna pay for it. First of all, also put Texas Southern sound way better than last week. So we're talking about getting up for which bands. Obviously, with the staff and everything, Southern was a bigger thing in their mind because Jackson State was a bigger thing in their mind. I think Southern was probably like a little bit more like contention, just based on the history with their band director, whatever. So I feel like this battle they sounded a lot better. And I put shout out to Texas Southern for having 2 Titans back to back. But bro, that next round by Jackson was the nail in the coffin. They played a song called "Good and Plenty" by Alex Isley, bro. And we're talking about just full out. Everybody in the stadium is getting it. Everybody's feeling it. I mean, it's just. And that's what I put. And this is why Jackson State is an elite band because this song is on another level. Like strategic play calling, they had the crowd feeding for the next song. And you could tell that as soon as Jackson State was done playing "Good and Plenty," they Texas Southern played "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana, right? Which again, play calling that would have been better up front because it's a faster paced song. It's more like in your face, but you can feel the crowd. The crowd started booing them with their first note because they were so excited about what just happened. And we're talking about exclamation points and stuff like that. Jackson does a great job in their arrangement of. We talked about this in the previous weeks. You're battling with your phone. You're battling with everything around you, and they can really make you put your phone down. They really can make you look up and like feel it. And they did that with Good and Plenty. What you think about that in that round?
Man, Good and Plenty was like a spectacle to me. I was watching it.
Yeah.
Jay set routine was crazy. Like they had the moving formations. We don't really see that. Not even a big, to Horatio's point, man. It makes you pay attention. I really don't watch the dancers like that. My mind is often La La Land or looking at band people not holding their horn up or whatever, right? So for me to get zoned in and look at the dancers and really pay attention to what they're doing just really shows that they're doing something unique and special. That just a person like me that can just completely engulf me and capture my attention. That in the middle of a fifth, I'm running it back 2 times just to watch it again and hear it again. And I felt like that was completely like you said, a nail in the coffin because it just created a big moment. And I felt like Texas Southern tried to come back. They had the quick song call off. Because they really just didn't want to let it just sit.
Yeah, they want to let it sit. Yeah, you couldn't have done. You couldn't let it sit. Right.
Couldn't. They didn't want to let it sit.
Yeah, but the crowd was so into it, man, and you could feel it though. You know.
It was.
And you felt. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like it smells like Teen Spirit. Like they played that early in the season, and for that to be their last song, I felt like it wasn't anything to change the tides. It was just like, let's go ahead and get this on to try to take away, but it didn't really capture anything close to what the last song did.
Definitely.
So you can tell it's like a defeated feeling almost.
Right. I was about to say that. You can tell that the students at Jackson felt that energy from everybody because from that song on to the rest of the battle, it was just I put next song Jackson played was Crank City. Jackson's cranking arrangements are so top tier. They incorporate things that keeps the audience's attention, like them exclamation points, those ups and downs. Those it's like you said, it's a spectacle. And that song after Good and Plenty. Speaking of Good and Plenty too, I know that song, but I went and listened to it again because I wanted to line it up with the arrangement. But man, I mean, fantastic performance. Shout out to Texas Southern because I thought their sound was really good. I thought they sounded better than they did last week. Against Southern. But man, flawless performance by them. Other than me in the first round, I feel like they could have played another song except for that movie theme. But like you said, they already had, they had that song working, so they weren't gonna, But other than that, man, yeah.
This battle really made me go look up because I felt like Texas Southern, right? Ever since the director changed, I felt like they haven't really meshed in with their own identity. So I really started watching clips of them before the change and then after the change. For this battle, I think what they could have done is they had a lot of great songs earlier in the season that they played. And I figured that some of the songs that really didn't land as well could have been played again with better execution and would have been acceptable. Especially with these two giants back-to-back that they have. I don't think I would have minded because they replayed Smells Like Teen Spirit, right? I felt like if they would have executed better some early arrangements where I felt like this is really good, the band just don't have it yet. It just really felt like that was the missing key for me because if Texas Southern really gets a hold of what they're playing and is able to execute and interpret in a great way, that's a crazy band. That is a wild band, but it just doesn't seem like it's landing like that.
Yeah.
So shout out to them for
definitely.
Yeah.
DJ says JSU is that team this year. They have dominated the entire band season with consistency and arrangements. Absolutely. And I think that I could see that when they played Southern this year. And I saw that kind of like I feel like they took it with Southern. You know what I'm saying? So we talked about taking it earlier. So to see them this year and this battle really put a stamp on it. Next week they play Southern again, right?
It's a battle of the bands this weekend, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, November 11th.
I'm really excited to see that. I'm really excited to see that because that'll really obviously we talk about these two titans of a band, Southern Jackson, but Jackson, man, is running away, man, dominating, and I'm excited to see it, man. I'm excited to see. Any final words on?
I thought about it. It's
Yeah. Any
to me like
final words on the
that
battle?
really this battle just really set the stage for the swag. To me, this
Right.
week was like the closing of almost the swag rankings because it's despite what happens at the Battle of the Bands, Southern. I mean, in my opinion, Jackson State gonna have one over Southern, and I don't see what Jackson State has brought this year. I don't see like a complete decimation that would
Right.
take for me to change ties on that. And Southern really hasn't given me enough to say anything different than that. And I was just like, Jackson State has seen all the bands that they could possibly see and of every style. They saw FAMU, they seen Southern, they saw Texas Southern. We're going to see Alcorn. They saw this new Valley. Like who else would you want them to see to try to prove that they taking it this season this year, man? And it's really kind of undeniable. They saw A&M too, and who just seen FAMU. So it's like they getting a taste, and Alabama State. Like I'm like, dang, shoot, they really getting at everybody in different. And it's like what's impressive to me, like they beating bands in different ways.
Yes, it's not the same way. It's not the same way. It's not the same way, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Because it's almost kind of almost kind of tailored to each band. They beat each band their kind of way, but in their own ways. It's very man. Shout out to the staff. Jackson State staff, like I said earlier, is great with not only the song selection. You can tell they got people listening to different stuff so they can bring it in. But yeah, shout out to Jackson State, man. Like I would say, band of the year so far. We haven't gotten to our end of the year rankings, but for what we've seen this year, man, Jackson State has really been killing it. Anything else on that? That's all the notes I had. I think that's all the battles that we had. I do want to mention something that we talked about last week. We talked about band fights last week, right? We talked about band fights, and we kind of spoke it up. We're talking about Southern Jackson. I mean, Texas Southern and Jackson. But there was a video from Texas Southern's one of their tuba players. Somebody got in their face and he like threw a punch. And we were talking about last week fighting in your uniform. But this has kind of went viral. Like, you know, the guy really like gave it to him though. So we talked about this last week. Y'all be trying to do the whole band geek thing on it. Nah, hey, that dude was ready on site. What you think about that video and you know the whole thing?
I was like, apparently this is my sources, right? Sources is YouTube and Facebook comment section. So take this what you will, right? So he was in the tuba player's face talking junk. Tuba player wasn't really trying to hear that, and really started swinging. I look like if we really gonna talk fights, I like shoot. I'm a fight fan. I like UFC, boxing, all that type of stuff. The first two really didn't land. That third one grazed them. The real champion of the fight was the person who grabbed him by the back of the hoodie and they yanked him 2-3 steps. To me,
bro.
Bro.
The tubas get all the hate because they on the outside. So it's like, I mean, they really get it the most. So like, they be ready to swing the most because they on the outside, they the ones that's right there by the people, and the bell is right there. So the people that's talking junk are the ones that's right there. So I mean, look, we talked about it last week. The guy, but I did hear that, you know, I saw a lot of conflicting views about it, saying that it made the university look bad, and that's the other side of fighting and band and stuff like that. You represent the university, and so hopefully they don't, you know, do too much action with that guy because I feel like it's justified. You know, a guy coming in your face. I saw something else that the guy spit on him. I saw a lot of different reports, but I'm not sure.
Crazy. I mean, I just I never just want to be that like type of. I really don't want to be in those type of situations where you feel like you compelled to have to like act upon like a fan or somebody talking to you that crazy. Because you know we've been to games, we've attended games where we've seen like people come up and try to talk trash. I've seen countless quarrels between like fans and band members on both sides. So, you know, I really don't like seeing it get to that point, but shoot, like sometimes get a little malice in the palace in the band world, man.
Hey, there we go. Okay. Actually just wanted that lick back. All right. Yeah, Boombox 2. I'm excited to see that, man. I feel like something needs to bring it, yo. Like, To me, Southern hasn't really this year. It's been kind of mid for Southern as far as their song selection and their arrangement. They haven't really wowed me like that. So I'm excited to see what they do. Hopefully, it's not a repeat of what they've been doing. But they brought us some new stuff against Texas Southern, so I'm sure they're going to bring us some new stuff. All right. So let's get ready to talk about next week's matchups. Of course, we're going to do the real quick hits. When I say the name, just tell me the band that you think is going to win. You can comment in the comments as far as who you think is going to win as well. All right. North Carolina Central versus Howard.
Central.
North Carolina Central. Central's band this year has been really good, y'all. We talked about that last week. North Carolina Central versus South Carolina State. But both of those bands programs are doing really good. So I would say Central. Morgan State versus South Carolina State. South Carolina State.
South Carolina.
With that battle we saw against Morgan State and Norfolk, Morgan State really doesn't have that aggression. And it needed a better tuba section as well. Norfolk State versus Delaware State. Norfolk State. Grambling versus UAPB.
They didn't play each other already?
Not according to this list. If not, I think we would have. I don't know. But Grambling versus UAPB, I'm saying Grambling.
I'm Grambling.
Alabama A&M versus Bethune. Where's Bethune at? Have you seen Bethune at all this year? I've not seen Bethune at all, except for that one battle.
They played Southern. They had a fifth against Southern. That was like two. They played one song or something. I don't even know if they. Right. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like I watched. The video was 9 minutes. I listened to Southern first song, so I'm gonna tell you.
Okay, this next one, I'll tell you. This next one's gonna be pretty good. Alabama State versus Mississippi Valley. I think it's gonna be pretty good. I'm going Alabama State too, but Valley's gonna do well though because Valley. Yeah. This is the type of band that Valley thinks that they can really like give it to. So like this is gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good one. Southern versus Prairie View.
Is that happening?
I mean,
speaking of Prairie View, right? Prairie View is really. I feel like they suffer from like bad schedule syndrome this season.
Every year.
Like they haven't usually, right? I would say usually every couple years we'll get a great PV versus either a great PV versus Southern battle. PV versus Alcorn has been a great matchup. And shooting like these recent years, PV Grambling has been pretty interesting. Yep. I think we got PV Grambling a couple weeks back. I can't remember.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we did. I
feel like this band that PV has this year has been a really good band that just didn't get as many battles performances. I felt like this season they had a revamped sound. Like we talked about, their sounded like a storm, sounded cloudy, but I felt like the sound was more direct this year. It had a lot more clarity, but we just didn't get the content to like really see that put to the test. Like hopefully, we'll see something from the Southern battle. Right. And then Southern got what? They got PV. Then the next day they got the boombox thing. Yeah. And shout out to them. So question, right? Right. If you PV is like you doing 5 and out or you staying to put pressure on.
I'm staying the whole time, man. You might as well. I'm staying the whole time, yo. Because that they're trying to leave because they got a battle tomorrow. But this is where you're really trying to get it off. So PV, if you know what's good for you, bro, come there to really like knock something's head off. Like really, to have that attitude because they're gonna try to like hit you with a 3 and out. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't going for that. All right, Alcorn versus Texas Southern. Hey, I'm gonna go Alcorn, bro.
This year, I don't even know what this battle's gonna look like this year, man. Because to me, with this matchup, I need like that Texas Southern. We think of Texas Southern, not like the formation of what they're attempting to do, which is great. But this is not what I want for this matchup. I want that hour-long battle where they was in the parade block type of Texas Southern. I need the Texas Southern that be going to Mardi Gras and blowing people's heads. I want them versus this Alcorn, man.
Bro, this Texas Southern is very saucy. They're trying to sauce it up, boy. Albany State versus Benedict. That's different. I'm saying Albany
I'll,
State.
yeah, I'll go Alvin.
Yeah. Last one, Virginia Union versus Fayetteville States.
Fayetteville.
I'm gonna go Fayetteville. All right, guys. Well, if we don't have anything else to talk about, anybody in the comments have a
Yeah.
band lie. Like I said, the topic was impressed me because I really feel like as we're coming to the end of the band season, we need to be impressed. All right, the fans need to be impressed. The people that's coming, we talked about the battle with Norfolk State, where we feel like the alumni are coming and they still hearing old songs. All right, impress us. So if anybody, I don't know if you have anything to speak on the topic, anybody in the comments, anything, a band lie, band fights, anything.
I think that's all for me, man. Stay safe out here, man. Don't be out here just picking fights because Face Off said mention fights. Don't do that. Don't
Definitely.
see because band like the band as an HBCU unit, we usually like undefeated versus the fans, and we really don't need y'all out here jeopardizing our rank and heritage being undefeated because you want to go off the chain. Because Face Off did not tell you to go punch that man. Now you're getting jumped on by his family in the football team.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we appreciate it. You can always find me on social media at Horatio Radio. Definitely follow It's the Face Off on all the social media as well. They do a great job with posting not only our clips but other clips, other band clips, just to keep you updated in the band world. And you can follow the page Crank Up Pod on YouTube, the Crank Up HBCU Band Podcast, where we do reviews. And we're definitely going to get a review coming out this week on one of these battles, one of the battles next. What's up?
So our reactions, if you go to our YouTube page, our reactions is under the live tab, not the videos tab. It's under the live tab. So if you want to see the reactions, go underneath the live tab to see those.
Definitely. Well, guys, we appreciate y'all. Next week we're coming back, looking to be impressed by these bands, and I'm excited. So we see you guys next week for the HBCU band recap. Appreciate you guys. We see you next week.
See y'all next week.